Okay, so I'm working on a 2012 Chevy Express van with a 6L90. Now, the main reason for this video is I just want to kind of show you what, inferior parts look like when a transmission gets rebuilt. So this transmission, I guess, was built, I don't know when it was built, but the bottom line is it was done and now it has to get done again. And these 6 speeds that have the computer inside, these things are not cheap. So I get road checking the car, we get it in from the wholesale account and we are road checking it, and it has a code for shift solenoid D. I think it might have been like 2714, something like that. Shift solenoid D stuck off. And it basically is just sliding right through second. Sometimes it even made a 1-3. But 100% problems in the transmission. So, we're going back and forth, and my wholesaler is telling me, he had the unit built, and I guess it's out of warranty, and he didn't want to go back there again, wherever it was. So we came to him, and, going back and forth, we got the okay to do it. Took the transmission out, and the first thing that I did was I pulled the valve body off and I air checked the 2.6 clutch, and there was nothing there, just total blow-by. Clutch wasn't even getting applied. And I also saw something interesting when I take the valve body off. There's a small strip of seals that sit in the case. Actually, let me get the case here, and I can show you where it is. Got the transmission down and cleaned. The seals sit right here. And I thought it was very odd looking at those seals, because those seals, which should be, if you're using quality parts and this thing, has over 100,000 miles on it, those things should be still in pristine condition. This is one of the first times, and I've seen bulletins on this. This is the first time I've really seen these, crappy parts, or as we would call it, inferior parts being used. I'm going to give you a close-up shot and compare the two. This is basically either an AC Delco or Freudenberg, which is Transtech, and this is what was in there. So, and this transmission was rebuilt already. Also, this is the 2.6 clutch piston, and these you can get inferior also. And the clutches really weren't burned out, but basically the bonding looks like it's starting to come off, and it tore. I'll give you a close-up shot of this. And also for a rebuilt transmission, the same, I'm going to show you this too, the pressure regulator valve, which is worn out, was never even changed. So, sometimes you get these, you get the cars in and you're talking to the people and you give them a price and they say, well, I can get it done for $800 less at this place. So, and I try to explain to them that probably what you're getting between the two places, there's a difference of night and day. When I do these transmissions here, for instance, these are some of the pistons that arrived for the 6L90, and you can see it's all AC Delco, because that's all that I would use. So you got to be careful. I like to try to stick to rebuilding the transmission. The best quality part, like for an overhaul kit, I like the company Freudenberg, which they have the division called Transtech. Those kits are fantastic. I try not to deviate from that, and honestly, that's really all that I use. And even when I do these jobs for like this over-the-counter one, the 62 TE, he got me an OE kit. I says, get me good stuff, because he didn't want me to get the parts, because I told him that I like certain parts. So the guy started researching, and then he sent me links to what he was getting, and it was basically all OE stuff. So I said, yeah, that's good. So let me give you a close-up shot of this. I definitely want to show you these seals here, what these look like compared to a new set of seals. And again, even if the seal has 100,000 miles on it, and its quality, it should still come out looking like this. So let me just get a little closer. I just wanted to make a quick video because I found this interesting. When I took the seals out, I says, wow, look at that. This is, these things are shot. And I remember reading, I don't know who put the article, I don't know if it was ATSG, but somebody did, and they're showing you, be careful of inferior parts, as we call it. And they actually showed one of these things, tore up like this. All right, so let me get a little closer. I'll just show you this stuff real quick. Okay, I'm hoping you guys can see this here. It's going to focus. This is the one that came out, and this is the one that's going to go back in. So if you can see the difference there, I mean, this thing is just totally torn up. And this is the one out of the overhaul kit that's going to be going back in. It's a Trans-Tech overhaul kit. Okay, now this of course broke off. This is the 2.6 clutch piston. And this is basically what happened here. This looks like a tore. The bonding was coming off. And also, for a transmission being overhauled, this was left in here. And if you can see how shiny it is, and then you turn it, it becomes kind of like dull, which is the regular color. But the shiny, you can see this valve is worn out. So I replaced this with the Transgo valve. All right, and again, the pistons, I'm still waiting for them, some of them, but there's one. Here's a balance piston I'm using. This one should be the 2.4, the 4.56 clutch piston. Okay, that's what that looks like, and right out of the box, AC Delco. So this is the good stuff. All right, so just kind of wanted to do a quick video on this. Again, here is a shot of these seals. So, when you see something like that, it's not quality parts. So, again, if you guys out there ever wanted to try to rebuild a transmission, my recommendation on first choice on an overhaul kit, if you wanted to go more towards, towards the aftermarket, would be Trans-Tech. I don't deviate much from that, so there are other kits out there, but I don't really use them. Because Trans-Tech pretty much, makes everything out there. So that's basically what I use, and don't really have too many problems. The sealing rings are good, like the scarf cut and the solid rings, everything fits nice. The pistons, even Trans-Tech makes pistons also, like the molded pistons like that, but it's all quality parts. All right, so you saw what that 6L80E looked like, and you saw what aftermarket parts look like breaking the transmission down. I mean, those seals, that row of seals, even when you tear down a transmission, with 100,000 miles on it, I've really never seen the OE seals look like that. I mean, those seals are really torn up. But now I want to give you another scenario of identifying aftermarket parts on parts that you may order that may be delivered to you. All right, now this particular scenario, I'm buying parts for a 2006 GMC Envoy with a 4L60E. and 4L60, 65, 70, it's basically all the same. So when I do these transmissions, I like to always install a banner kit. Okay, a banner kit is the overhaul kit, all the clutches that the transmission would take, and the 3 molded pistons for the input drum. So I'm opening up the, it comes in a big box, looks like a pizza box, if you will. So I'm opening up the box, and the pistons are right there, stacked on each other, the 3 of them. And I noticed that 2 of the pistons were different colors, which kind of caught my eye, because I really never seen that before. And it turns out that the 2 pistons, which one is the forward and one is the coast, are aftermarket pistons. All right, what caught my eye was the color of them. Now, if I buy, I'm going to give you guys a close-up shot of this, but the pistons that I like are manufactured by Federal Mogul. It's basically like an OE piston, and they're a certain color. And like, for instance, this piston may cost me $12, and these aftermarket pistons may cost me $5. And I wouldn't use those if he gave them to me. I just don't like them. I remember a scenario once where a guy was building a ZF 5HP24 out of a BMW. I started kind of doing some of their transmission work. This was a little while back when they were kind of trying to do it themselves, and I had helped them out and give them advice and stuff like that. So, and I always said, with the F-clutch piston, get it from these people, because it's going to be an OE. You really don't want to go aftermarket. I've never used it, and I just wouldn't trust it. So they get the parts, they bring me the F-clutch drum, and normally when you have, I got to put it in a press, take the split ring out, take the bevel spring out, the return spring, and pull the piston out. So an OE piston, you grease up, you push it right in. All right, this aftermarket piston, he told me where I got it from. I said, it's aftermarket. And, but, they said, oh, the guy doesn't want to spend much money, so blah, 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 whatever. I said, well, you may have an issue down the road, just want to let you know. So I grease up the piston, I can't even push the piston in. The OE piston, every time, grease it up, right in, no problem. This one I can't even push in. I kind of had to work it in. Never seen anything like that. And I says, right off the bat, I don't like this. So I, do the drum for him, load up the clutches, make sure that everything is good. I give him back. He takes the drum back. They build the transmission, put it in. He calls me up, says, hey, this thing works real nice. I said, good. Let's, see what happens down the road. And then, honestly, probably 9 months later, he calls me and he says, hey, that transmission I did, he says, maybe you can help me with it. I said, it has no reverse. And I says, well, it's either the F-clutch piston, which was an aftermarket, which I didn't like, or you have a problem in the C-clutch. One of the 2. So they basically just pulled the transmission out again and brought me the F-clutch drum, and I took the split ring out, took the bevel out, turned it upside down, the piston fell right out. Piston dropped right in, turned, fell right out. Wasn't even sealing, wasn't doing nothing. So I said, this is why you got to get the good stuff. So I just wanted to share that one story with you guys, because when I opened up this banner kit and I saw these pistons, I said these things are aftermarket. And then I went on to Transtar's website, where you can order parts online, called Transcend, and they actually offer both pistons, and they have a picture of it. And it says right there, aftermarket. But, I never had these come in a banner kit before, and I didn't know why that was, but then when I started doing research and I called somebody else, because I won't use these, and Transtar did have them, but they were a couple of days out, and it's way too busy here to wait. Because these 4L60Es, I got 3 of them to do, plus Hondas and other cars. I mean, it's always busy here. So I called another supplier that I occasionally buy parts from, and I asked them when he picked up, and I says, the Coast, they had this one, so I ordered the forward clutch piston, and I said, I'm looking for a 4L60E Coast piston. And he says, yeah, I got it. I says, well, is it, well, first, actually, I said, when I said I need a 4L60E molded coast piston, he says, oh, you know, we've been having trouble getting those. They've been on back order. So when I heard that, I'm thinking maybe that's why I got these. But he says, now let me check, you know, because maybe we got them in. And he says, yeah, I got it. And I says, just check, make sure the vendor is Federal Mogul. And he says, yeah, it was. So I got it, and it's already, the transmission is already built, and it was. So I was happy that I can do the all three pistons, you know, with the basically OE. But maybe because there was a hard time getting the pistons, maybe that's why they did it, so they can still build the banner kit and sell it. But again, this is 4L60E, so I just want to get a close-up on a bench of these pistons and show you the colors. So if you guys decide to build, because I do get a lot of questions on 4L60Es, and you know, and you're trying to rebuild it, which is great. It's really not a bad transmission to build. It's a fairly simple transmission to do, and it's a nice one to learn on. In case you get this kit with the pistons, you open it up and it's going into a car, and you see the certain piston, you know, you'll kind of know what the deal is. So let me get a little closer here. So I have, these are the pistons that came out of the one I just rebuilt. And I'll just get a close-up. This is a good Federal Mogul, and these are Aftermarket. I don't even know who the vendor is. When I went on to TranStar's site called Transcend, it just says Aftermarket. It does not say who the vendor is, so I'm not really sure. All right, so let me get a little closer onto the bench and onto the piston so I can show you the difference. Okay. So again, here are the pistons that came out. And as you can see, you know, this is a transmission that was never worked on before, so these are, this is good stuff here. But these I don't use anymore because I put new ones in. All right, so this is a brand new forward piston. I'm hoping you can, this color is coming out and you can see it. And this is like an OE made by Federal Mogul, and this is an aftermarket piston, which is much darker in color. Okay, the same thing with this coast piston, also is much darker, and it's an aftermarket. So here is the coast piston. All right, I'm sure hoping this color is coming in. So I just wanted to make you aware of what's out there. I've never used these, and I won't use them. If they, you know, like for instance, when this came in the banner kit, and I had one of these for the 3/4 clutch, which is an OE, and I had two of these. So I says, well, something's wrong because, you know, these aren't this. And I kind of had a feeling they're aftermarket. That's when I went over to TranStar's website and I started researching the pistons. And sure enough, you know, again, they have a picture of it, and they have a picture of this one. And it says Federal Mogul vendor, and they have a picture of this one right underneath it. It just says aftermarket. So I just wanted to share that with you guys on what to look for in case you order, you know, pretty much a 4L. This is basically 4L60E. But, you know, if you're in doubt, you can always do the research to see. You can always turn the piston over. And somewhere there should be maybe like a part number on one of these. Usually on here somewhere. You just gotta maybe use a magnifying glass here, like there's wording here, there's a part number here, and on the back of this, there's absolutely nothing. There's no writing, there's nothing stamped in here. So that's another way to tell. So again, even with this one, all right, I got something here. I got a part number here, so that's another way to tell also. So I just kind of wanted to share this with you guys. And again, 4L60E, I wanted to show you the difference between basically an OE piston and an aftermarket piston. So this piston could be like $12, this could be like $4. You know, I don't know how good or bad these are, but I just would elect not to use them because, you know, I've heard of problems in the past, and I honestly have never used these before in a 4L60E because I won't use them. And even when I've gotten other kits like a 6T70 or a 6T40, and you open up
the box and the pistons are like in a bag like this, you know, that you can kind of tell it's maybe like an aftermarket piston. When I order, like when I do 60, 40, 60, 70, the pistons may come in like an AC Delco bag, or again, you turn it over, you look for a part number, it might say Trans-Tech, something to that effect, to know if it's a decent piston or not. All right, so I just want to share that with you guys on this 4L60E. So now we went over the 6L80. I'm actually filming this at totally 2 different times. So I figured I'd add this on to the 6L80 because it was kind of like a short video. So now we got a couple of things here with aftermarket, or as some people say, inferior parts. All right, I thank you guys for watching. Have a great day, and we will see you next one.